Hello, folks. How are we all? Hope we're all well. Hope we're all good. You are very welcome to the JM Fitness podcast. It's a health and fitness podcast for normal people with busy lives or busy people with normal lives. I don't know what way you want to do it. Do normal people with busy lives. And today, really excited, wee bit nervous, not going to lie, about having my first guest who you can see on the screen here. It is Cat Jemmy. She's a local personal trainer, online coach, entrepreneur, gym owner, a whole lot of different things, a whole lot of different things. Kat, you're very, very welcome. How are you today?
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm great. What an introduction. Thanks. Love it.
See, I always like to use that. I don't think enough people use that entrepreneur side of things, and
Yeah, definitely not.
but we are, you know what I mean? Anybody who's sort of getting up off their backside and going and doing something for themselves and starting a business themselves, that's what you are. You know what I mean? I always remember back to my dad starting his own business 35, 40 years ago, and somebody called him an entrepreneur, and he was like, "What the hell? What the hell's an entrepreneur?" And I was like, "That's what you are. You've started your own business. That's what you are."
Brilliant.
Okay, so we're going to get into it, folks. We're going to just talk all things health and fitness. We're going to get a wee bit of the background of where Kat's come from, her journey, where she is now. Um, yeah, we'll go into it. So we've got some questions. We're going to start do the questions, and then we're going to talk through, and hopefully this will just run like a wee bit of a conversation. So, Kat, share a wee bit
Yeah.
about your background and what inspired you to become a personal trainer.
Okay, so basically what inspired me was I've always sort of joked and said that when I started to train, once I got into the gym, I grew a backbone, but I actually mean it in the literal sense. I was always skinny cat, sort of didn't have much of a voice, definitely didn't have a backbone. Not a poor me by any means, but a little bit walked all over and started to train. I was a barber for like 13 years. Started to exercise and train, go to the gym probably in the last 6 years of being a barber, and saw the difference that it was making in my body. My body started to change. I started to gain weight, was very underweight, didn't really realize, didn't really think it was much of an issue,
Yeah.
started to gain weight. So my journey's been different to a lot of people who I now coach, which I understand that's different. It's come from a different angle, but I can still relate to the issues and the pain. So started to gain some weight, started to learn to love food, love nutrition, love my body, started to have more respect for my body. And then just sort of was like, I can't really change people's lives on the barber chair. I can change their hair, but that's all I can do. And I was like, well, do you know what? Why not just change career? Why not try it out? I think my dad passed away, and I think that was a little bit of the catalyst. I was like, I want something new. I want something new to focus on rather than to stay in this environment where people know me, they knew about my dad and things, you know. So I decided I'll go and completely change career. A lot of people said, why are you doing this? Because I think we're still stuck in that if you have a job out of school or a job, once you qualify, you stay in that forever.
Yep.
And why would you leave? Because you're good at it and you like it. It's like I could leave and then try something else and go back to it. You don't
Yeah.
have to just stay. Do you know, we don't only have to change things when we hate it. You can change. I was like, I'm changing career, but I love my job. I just want to see if I can do something else because I don't know. Do you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what sparked it, basically.
Okay, that's amazing because I didn't know, folks. Myself and Kat have been messaging each other back and forth on socials. We support each other an awful lot on what we do. We lived literally 15 minutes away from each other. I know Kat's husband, and but we never met face to face. This is our
Oh,
first time actually talking face to face. But it's amazing because my father passed away coming up to 5 years ago, and
okay.
that was a major turning point in my life as well. Like I'm 50, I'm a lot older than you are. I've just turned 50. Um, and it was a major turning point. It completely changed my outlook on life. And I was always very similar to you. It was the one job, you're happy, you're earning good money, sit where you
Yeah.
are. But and I'm the same as you. I work in sales. I love my job. I love what I do on a daily basis. But what I do on the side of this with the training side of things is, as you say, changing lives. It really is. It's changing lives. Amazing. I didn't know that. So that's really good.
I think I'm very much things are meant to be and
Yeah.
people are drawn to people's energy. And although we didn't know that about each other, there's clearly a reason, wherever it is, whatever it is, there's a reason why our energies pull towards each other to support each other for that reason.
Yeah, 100%. Very much a believer in that as well. Very much a believer in that. So you've just recently opened your own gym.
I have
How's
six
that?
months.
How's
It was 6 month birthday there on the second.
brilliant. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you
Still
very
going
much.
strong. And so how's the journey been so far? First of all, what was the journey up to opening the gym and how's it been?
So I was the assistant manager of a gym in Belfast, very well-known gym, Anytime Fitness in Stranmillis. Absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. Great, great gym. Loved the team. But I was coaching as well. So I was assistant manager part-time, like a few days a week, coaching the rest of the time. Really enjoyed both aspects. But the coaching side that was drawing me so much more. Really enjoyed it, was getting great results with clients, was having great rapport with clients. And that was really sort of starting to build. And I was kind of given a bit of, I'm going to use the word ultimatum, and I don't mean it in a negative way. It was just coaching's going really well for you and you're doing really well at it, but you're leaving stuff on the table that we need as an assistant manager. So what do you want to be? Do you want to be a manager or a coach? Because you kind of can't keep striving for both. And I
Yeah.
was like, if you offered me a manager job tomorrow, I would turn it down because I don't want to give up coaching. If you asked me to just be a coach here and not be a manager at all, I would choose that one. And it sort of made the decision for me.
Yeah.
So then decided, right, okay, I'm going to go all in on coaching. What will that look like? Decided it wasn't going to be there because what I want for me is more than just to coach in that space. Again, loved it, loved the clients, loved the members, loved the place in the team, but bumped into I'd put it out there that I want my own space. Looked at buildings, looked at premises, and was like, this is going to take thousands and thousands, and I don't have that. So bumped into a friend, also a friend of John's. You probably actually know him, Connell Toland. He's a physio. Bumped into
Totally.
him.
Yeah, know him
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
and he said, I need somebody to come into the gym space because I can't take the space the full time on my own. I'm part time because he's a physio also. And I heard you're looking for a space, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. It's like, do you know what? If I don't try it now, I'm never going to. Like, just give it a shot and see. If in 2 years' time I'm like, this isn't working out, I'm still a coach. I
Yeah.
can still pursue online. I can go somewhere else. Like, I'd work anywhere. It wouldn't bother me if somebody said, right, well, you can't be in that space anymore. You have to get another job just to put food on the table. That wouldn't bother me at all. I would do anything, do you know? So because that's the type of person I am. So I
Yeah.
would still coach, and I would, so it was like, why not? Just give it a shot. So hence why I now have my own space. So that all happened in January, had a launch party in March for the gym, went on holiday for a week and came back and the doors were open.
Brilliant.
So it all
Amazing.
happened so fast. This time last year, it was still a thought in my head. So you could say it was a rush decision. It wasn't a rush decision. It was more of a, why not?
Yeah.
Why not just take a chance? Like I
And
could
it,
sit for another 5 years saying, I want this and
yeah.
go, well, not doing anything about it.
And it's true what you say. It's one of those ones, and it's a very similar mindset. And I think a lot of people like you and like me have that same sort of mindset. Whereas you have to take the chance, and if it doesn't work out, you can work. You can
Yeah.
do. You can cut hair. I can do sales. I
Yeah.
quite happily go and work on a building site or drive a truck. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones where if I need to do something to earn a wage, you'll do it. But you want
Yeah.
to take the
Yeah.
chance and follow your dream, and that's
Exactly.
amazing.
You've got to back yourself. And if you don't back yourself, you're setting the example that nobody else should back you either.
Yeah.
But also it shows that you don't actually trust yourself that you want it enough. Do you know? And then I think you can pull that then into the gym, into fitness, into changing your body, your nutrition, your lifestyle. Like back yourself. Like, what if it does work? Do you
Yeah.
know? And like my son's only 11, but he was great in it. There was a few moments I was like, oh my gosh, what if this doesn't work? What if I spend the savings on trying to do this and it doesn't work? And Jack went, Mummy, what if it's the best decision you've ever made in your whole life? Like, what if? And I was like, do you know what, son? You're right. He was like, you would tell your clients that. So you need to say that to yourself. Going, okay, well, maybe everything that he hears me say, he's taken on board.
Yeah. Yeah, and agreed because I would be very guilty of that sometimes as well when you're doing your stories and stuff like that there and you're telling people what they need to be doing and the positive side of things and the mindset and things like that. And then sometimes you come home and you go, I need to listen to myself. I
Yeah.
need to take my own advice sometimes. Yeah, love it. So the gym is women only. You coach women only. I know you have some mixed classes because we've talked about this before. You have some mixed classes with the high rocks. I'm not going to say it's a high rocks class, but yeah,
Yeah, the hybrid. Yeah.
hybrid high rocks, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But you're focusing on the women's side. What was the thoughts on that?
So it's funny because when I said I was going to open a female only gym, when I first started out coaching, all my clients were guys. So there was only two female coaches in any time at the time, myself and another girl. And the other girl, she only coaches girls. She was like, I can't believe you've only got male clients. I was like, I know, I don't know. Like, I've got like three guys that are over 50. It's like I'm just attracted these older guys that need training. It's like maybe it's because I was a barber for a long time that I just naturally have that rapport with them. I don't know. So I had male clients predominantly for quite a while, then started to have more female clients. But the reason behind a female only gym is because I know firsthand exactly what it's like to walk in and feel so self-conscious, to feel like eyes are looking at you, to feel like you're not small enough, big enough, strong enough, pretty enough, whatever it is that is going on in your head at that moment. I've been there and felt it. And like you do as a girl going in, and I know guys walk into gyms and feel this too, but I think it is less. I could be wrong because I'm not a guy, but I think girls can walk in and think, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll go on the treadmill because I know how to hit the on button. More guys are more likely to go and try and lift some weights and do other things. And I want girls, the reason it's female only is so that they can go, if I want to wear shorts, no one's going to be looking at my legs. If I want to wear just a crop top, if it's roasting, if I'm like feeling rubbish because of my time of the month, no one's going to be looking going, is she fat? Is she like, she's bigger than she was the other week? She's literally just bloated.
Yeah,
Do you know, so you can feel all of those things. And like I have a bit of a saying, motto, there's no mirrors in my gym. So it's like no mirrors, no judgment, because I want every girl to walk in and go, instead of thinking, is that what I look like? I left the house like that today. Like they've possibly left the house early, been really busy. Sorry, my phone is ringing and I have no idea how to get rid of this.
it's okay.
Sorry.
You can't hear it on the side anyway. It's fine.
Well, that's good. That's good. I just don't know how to get the picture back. I don't know how to get this picture back. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay.
I want girls to walk in and know that they don't need to worry about what way they left the house that morning. Do you know, there's that sort of they walk in straight away and go, oh my gosh, is that what I look like? I left the house like that this Monday, possibly have worked all day long, left the kids to school in the morning, been busy, been rushing around. And if they walk in and the first thing they do is tear themselves down by looking in front of the mirror, it's like you're starting off your session on such a negative foot.
Yeah,
So there's no competition. It's just a really nice, I want to create a nice safe space environment for women to just come in, do their thing and not worry about how they look, what their goal is, or what they're wearing.
yeah,
Hence why it is female only.
yeah. I love that. No mirrors, no judgment. I love that.
Oh, my judgment. Yeah,
Brilliant.
definitely.
It's brilliant. But
Yeah.
just so,
Who cares? Who cares?
well, I can't worry about that, so I can't really say anything about that side of things. But when you're saying about going into the gym, I was very much. I mean, I played football and played Gaelic football all my life, but I only started really onto my own sort of fitness journey about 8 or 9 years ago. And when I first went into the gym, I was like that person. I walked into the gym and saw these guys lifting weights and stuff like that. I'm going, I have no clue what I'm doing here. I literally, and I didn't even want to lift any of the free weights because I didn't want anybody looking at me and criticizing me. Not that,
Yeah.
and it is one of those things now because I know now, and I preach to different people now, when you walk in, those people are probably more worried about themselves, what they look like
Yeah.
themselves, rather than looking at you. But I went onto the bike or went onto the treadmill until I got a personal trainer who was able to teach me and show me and everything else. So yeah, it is. It's one of those ones where Yeah, I just love that whole idea of the no judgment and everything else. So fantastic, fantastic. So many of our listeners on here are busy parents. They have demanding schedules. They're professionals. As you said there now, the people who are coming to your gym, they're mothers. They work full time. It's having the time. So how do you help those women with those busy lives prioritize the fitness side of things?
So meeting them where they're at is a big one. Listening to exactly what it is that they've got to give, but meeting the client exactly where they're at, meeting their expectations of themselves. Lots of the time, I always sort of say, like, we massively underestimate what it is that we're capable of. And I know guys are guilty of that too, but we underestimate what we're actually capable of. When I say, what about you try this weight? It's like, oh, never lift that. 10. Are you serious? It's like, well, we'll gently get there. And then they're like, well, now I'm on 12.5. And you're like, so they surprise themselves. But then we massively overestimate how much how much time we have to do something. So all of a sudden we magically think that we've got 20 hours a day in order to do all of these things. So managing those sorts of expectations, I think definitely helps. Do you know, sometimes they'll go, right, I want to do this by this point, so I'll do 5 days a week. It's like, you're definitely not going to do 5 days a week. Like, you're setting yourself up for failure. And I know failure is a strong word, but you definitely are. Just say you'll do 2 days of 20 minutes and build from there.
Yeah.
Um, Also, like, whatever they've got that day to give as 100% is that day's 100%. So if you walked in and you were like, had him wrecked, I've had this, I've had that, the kids have been up during the night, my wife isn't that well, I'm wrecked, but I'm still here. Be like, so whatever 100% you have today, give that one. Even if it's your normal day's 50%, you still gave 100% that day. And be proud of yourself for that one rather than, but normally I can do more. Normally I can lift heavier. Do you know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You still showed up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's as I say to some people who say to me, "Oh, you're away doing half marathons, marathons, ultra marathons, stuff like that," and say, "Oh, I only done a 5K." And I said, "It's not only a 5K. You've just done 5K more than the person who's sitting on the sofa. You're doing 5K
Exactly.
more than what you were doing
Yeah.
2, 3 weeks ago." So yeah, it's as you say, it's turning up, it's showing up. And I think the thing there when you said about the 5 days, you always speak to people who go, "Yeah, I'm going all in." It's like January when you speak to those people in January who are going, right, that's it. I'm no alcohol, no sugar, no carbs, I'm cutting everything out. I'm going to speak to me next week, see how you're getting on
Yeah.
because you're always setting yourself up for failure. Yeah. Good.
Definitely. Yeah. It would be that, I compare a lot of things when it comes to, say, nutrition and training and things like that. I compare a lot to money because it's the thing that you can use as if you were like, right, well, I'm going to save, so I'm going to save all of my money, every penny that I earn a month. It's like, well, you can't
Yeah.
because you need to pay your mortgage and you need to pay for the car and you need to pay petrol and you need to pay for food. So how about you start and you save £10? Like, oh, it's going to take forever. It's like, it doesn't matter. You'll still get there. You'll get there. Like, you could save all of your money 1 month, maybe, but the next month you'll be like, oh, I need some of that.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's the same. Instead of saying, I'll do 5 days and I'll do 2 hours a day, it's like, you definitely won't. Yeah. Or I'll cut out all alcohol. It's like, you probably won't.
No, exactly.
Allow yourself to have some and not treat it as I'm going to have it all.
Yeah. It's that 80-20 rule. 80% of the
Yeah.
time you're good, 20% of the time you
Yeah. Yeah.
just go after it. That's it. So again, you're just talking about food, you're talking about alcohol, you're talking about training times and stuff like that there. So what are the biggest challenges that your clients face when you speak to them on a daily basis, Kat?
Expectation.
Okay.
Their expectations of themselves are, again, and I know I literally just said that we massively underestimate what we're capable of, but we have such high expectations of what we think we should be able to achieve. It's like, I should be able to do that. I should be able to, and I should be there. But having this such high expectation of why am I not there yet? It's like, allow yourself the chance to be a beginner, to learn something new. Just because you're already an adult doesn't mean you know how to do this thing. You haven't done it before. You've maybe tried, and because your expectations were so high, or because you said you're going to do 5 days a week and cut out carbs and all the rest of it, you failed. Whereas if we switch the expectation for appreciation and go, at least I'm here and I'm trying, do you know, then you've got a much better chance of success, whatever that success looks like for the person, whether it's to lose weight, lose body fat, start to run, improve fitness, have better relationships. I sort of use switch expectation for appreciation in everything. My
Yeah.
marriage, my family, friends, rather than expecting so much from the other person and from yourself for that person, switch it all for appreciation, and you've got a much, much better chance.
Yeah.
Much better.
And do you think that expectation comes from, because what I find from speaking to people and speaking to people at boot camp and other PT clients, I think comes from social media as well, because they're seeing what's happening on social media.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. And like I think we forget that everything that you consume, like what you consume is not just what you put in your body, like what you consume is what's around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the social media accounts that you follow, like that unfollow or the mute button if you don't want to unfollow the person in case they check and see you unfollowed them, which they won't, and they won't care and you shouldn't care. But that unfollow or that mute button is actually pretty powerful, because you're absorbing all of that every single day, every time you go on there. And most people are on there quite early on in the day.
Yeah.
They're on social media. They're absorbing all of that way before they're creating anything for themselves. Um, and there's so many conflicting accounts, so much conflicting advice.
I know.
So it's like, I need to try and look like her and do what she does. And well, she's got 4 kids and she's managing and she looks great. So I should be there already because I've only got 2 kids. It's like, relax, relax.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So my next question, actually, you've probably just covered most of the next question, which is how does your clients create that sort of sustainable and do the sustainable habits to reach their goals? How do you help them do
So
that?
coming back again to meet them where they're at, always
Yeah.
meet a client where they're at. I heard that first, it was a few years ago now. I studied nutrition, so I did my nutrition course through BTN Nutrition, and I heard the tutor say, always meet a client where they're at. And I was like, it took me a while before it actually clicked. And then once it did, I was like, that makes so much sense. Rather
Yeah.
than, you know, trying to help somebody overhaul everything, like meet them where they're at. What is it that can they give? Listen to everything that they say, because I still see PTs that don't really listen. It looks like they listen and they go, right, Susie, well, we're going to do X, Y, Z with you, and you're going to go out 3 days a week and do 15,000 steps on each of those days in the evening. It's like, Susie's just told you that Susie has 2 kids and her husband coaches football in the evening. She can't go out in the evenings and do the walks, but you're still telling us she needs to. So meet them where they're at is
Yeah.
is my main one. And it definitely really, really helps.
Good. Good. Perfect. Okay. So just going to change it up a wee bit. I want to talk more about you and your personal philosophy when it comes to fitness. Um,
Okay.
where does that come? I know you've given us a wee bit of a background there. So where does that come from, and what does that look like?
My philosophy is really, it's sort of, how do you build a house? Like, you just lay down one brick. You put one brick down and then you put the next one down and then you put the next one down,
Love it.
rather than trying to envisage the whole house with the roof, the doors, the windows, and all the rest of it. Like, you just put down one brick. Just take it day by day, bit by bit, and you will definitely get there, slow and steady. Um, like you were talking the other day about motivation and how it's so short-lived and people rely on motivation, but like motivation lasts as long as a song. It's like 3 or 4 minutes.
Exactly.
What we're actually aiming for is to try and build discipline rather than to constantly try and be motivated. Like, I don't know anyone that is motivated to brush their teeth. I'm certainly not motivated to brush my teeth in the morning or in the evening.
I have a
You're
5-year-old who will answer that question for you.
yeah, like you're motivated by the outcome, and the outcome is good oral hygiene, because we don't want to spend hours or thousands of pounds in the dentist. So you build that into your day. So a bit like I don't have time. It's like I don't have time to brush my teeth. I just make the time to brush my teeth. It doesn't take that long, but you make the time to do it because the outcome is what we're looking for. And then the outcome, the positive outcome from doing the habit creates the discipline. And it's the same with us when it comes to training. That makes sense.
No, 100%, 100%, because it becomes, for me, it's the whole habit side of things. It's that brushing the teeth becomes a habit. And once you create that habit, you don't even think about it. It's just there. You do it in the morning, you do it at nighttime. That's it. It's not something that's not something, as you say, that you have to go, right, I have to go and brush my teeth. It's just a natural thing you do before you get
Yeah.
into bed and when you get up out of bed. And it's the same for me when it comes to training. It's the same for me when our guys go into boot camps and stuff like that there, it becomes that habit and becomes a good habit. I think so many people think about habits as bad habits and they have to
Yeah.
stop a bad habit, but you create good habits, which is
Create the
just,
positive
and in
ones.
fact, is probably more important than anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, because as we start to create positive habits, the negative ones start to go away anyway,
Yeah,
naturally. I know you talked in your first episode about how training and it made you make different life choices. Now, I don't know if you still actually do drink alcohol at all, but even if you
I
still
do.
drink,
Yeah,
you will drink far less because you go out running so early in the morning.
yeah,
So there's one, if someone wants to stop doing something, I'm always like, if you try and add in something rather than if we come at it from an angle of let's add in things rather than remove everything, because removal is negative. It's like I can't have this and I'm not doing that and I'm not going there. It's like let's try and add in things that you could do, and the negative ones they'll naturally start to fall away. So
yeah,
I'm going to get up earlier. So you're maybe not scrolling on your phone until 2 a.m. I'm going to go for a run in the morning. So you're maybe not going to eat such and such the night before because it doesn't make you feel good in the morning.
yeah,
Do you know?
yeah. No, I love
The
that. Yeah,
negatives naturally drop away anyway. And you haven't ever had to go, I cut out this and I don't go there and I don't do that anymore. Like
yeah,
they've disappeared on their own.
yeah. Brilliant, brilliant. So that brings us into this, just rolls on into mindset. How do you approach the whole mindset thing with clients when, because I know I mean, I had guys this morning at boot camp this morning. We were at boot camp this morning at 6:30. It was dark, it was cold, it was damp, it was windy. And a couple of guys were standing there and we were doing the warm up, and I could see in their faces they were going, I would so much rather be in bed right now. But they were there. They were there and they
Yeah.
turned up. So how do you get that sort of, how do you work on the mindset side of things with clients?
Like if they don't want to be there, I again, I sort of, I guess when we're having this conversation, I'm like, I have that sort of saying and that sort of saying, and it's only when you have this conversation you go, yeah, I have all these little things going. Anyway, so I have a bit of a saying, just come in and do 2 sets. Come and do 2 sets and then leave. You
Okay.
have conditional permission, you can leave. 99 times out of 100, the person's not going to leave. Like they've come through the door, they're in their training gear, they've parked the car, the kids are sorted. Or not everybody has kids, whatever else is sorted. They're already there, they're probably going to stay. But at least if they know they've got, I'm going to say permission, but everyone's got permission, they can do whatever they want. But you've got permission, you can leave again. They're probably not going to, but knowing that you can is it's like the get out that you can have if you need. Like
Yeah.
if somebody doesn't want to come to boot camp and they hit snooze, the next day they're going to feel a bit crap because they didn't go. And they're not like, the group's holding them accountable. They'll be like, here, John, where were you
Yeah.
at 6 a.m.? But if they come and you were to say, just do 2 sets and then leave, they're not going to leave because they're already there. The hardest part is done. And it's the fact that they showed up, and that's where the discipline builds.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, you're just saying that because I have a mutual friend of ours, Noel Savage, who comes to my boot camps,
Yes.
Noel has a wee bit of an injury at the minute, and yet has been the last two boot camps and comes and does a wee bit of a warm up and then does laps of the pitches while everybody else is doing boot camp. But he's getting a
Yeah,
step in, he's still working. And he said to me, he says, look, John, he says, I've got the habit now of coming. He says, if I
yeah.
stop because I've got a wee injury, I'll not. I'll fall out of that habit and come out of that. And then, as you say there, just about the gym and the two sets, it's that old thing where everybody says the heaviest weight in the gym is the front door when you're
Yes.
walking through that front door, and that's
100%. That's a good one. I like that. I
you can add
like
that
to
to your
make
book. I think you have a book full of sayings there, Kat. So you do.
I need a
We're
book. I
just
need a book. And like just as you're saying there with Noel about him, having the injury, and because he's created that, he's built the discipline now that he just comes. There is at the same time as me saying, come in and do two sets, I'm always like, know when you're making excuses. Like it's okay
yeah,
to have the days where you're like, today is just not happening. And I can't today. I physically can't. That's fine. But don't let I can't turn into I can't be bothered. And you need to know when the difference is because there's a fine line between I physically cannot and I just can't be asked. And I'm like, if you're saying you can't be asked, so long as you're being honest with yourself, that's fine.
yeah,
And yeah, people have injuries, people have things going on, but focus on what could you do then. So he can't train certain things, but he can walk.
yeah,
I've got a girl at my gym at the minute. She's in a brace. She's got a knee. It's like partially dislocated about 3 times in the last couple of weeks. It would partially dislocate quite often for her. She was decorating, so she's got a brace, so she cannot straighten her leg fully, but she cannot flex her knee at all. She is in every single day doing a session. Now, her shoulders and her back are going to be unbelievable by the time her leg is out of this brace. And I keep saying, I'm so proud of you for still showing up. Do you know? I'm just adapting everything and changing everything so that she can still train because she's like, I don't want to just sit and do nothing.
yeah,
Do you know? It's
yeah,
great. So the discipline is built and we know ourselves. And it's just reminding, I think reminding the clients that you know deep down yourself if you just can't be bothered or if you actually cannot.
cannot do
There's a
it.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree 100% because my partner, Lurian, would be very much going, John, you can't be talking to people. You can't be telling people and talking to people the way you talk to people because you just go out at 5 o'clock in the morning and do your runs and do training and stuff like that there. Everybody's not like that. And I said, but yeah, but it's a mindset. It definitely is a mindset and it's a habit set. I says, I'm not asking anybody to go out at 5 o'clock in the morning, but if you can get out at some point during that day and do one wee bit of exercise or do a walk or do something that's going to make you feel better because it's I don't think people realize how much exercise and fitness is connected to their how good they feel inside and how good and how strong their mind becomes. And
Oh,
I see it, you see it, we see it in the business all the time. But when you're speaking to people who aren't exercising, and I've got a guy who's just been in my just the second boot camp this morning, and said to me afterwards, "I feel amazing. I feel
yeah,
so good after this." You know what I mean? And it's
definitely.
those wee small things, and you go, "I've been telling you this I've been trying to tell you this."
Yeah. And you just have to wait for it to click.
You do,
Once
you
it
do.
like, like I've had people say to me since I then obviously sort of started to train and a few years ago, oh, you've really changed. You've changed. And I'm like, yeah, I have. Like I grew a backbone and I don't let people walk all over me anymore. Of course I changed. This is a positive. It's just because you see it as a bit of a negative because I'm now have a different outlook. Like that's a positive thing. You should want that sort of change. Do you know? It's like,
Yeah,
and again, I'm sure you've had it as well. Do you know, how do you do that? How do you go out at that time? Why do you do that? Oh my gosh, you're addicted to training. It's like, no, I'm addicted to feeling good.
yeah, that's it.
And you get that, you get those endorphins after you train, after you push your body, after you do something. That's when you get those endorphins and they're free.
Yeah.
They're in there already.
Brilliant. I love it. I love it. Look, I'm very worried, Kat, because we've only got 40 minutes on this, so I'm very worried we've got
Okay.
about 5 minutes left. We can, folks, by the way, we can do a part two on this because we do have
We'll
enough.
do a part two.
We do a part two. We'll do a part two. But look, I want to look more at, as you just said, there are people talking to you about being so busy and you've changed and stuff like that there. Running your own gym, it's really demanding. You're there first thing in the morning, you're doing late night classes. How do you personally manage your time? And I know with a family and stuff like that there, how do you manage your time with running a family, running a house, business, gym? You're flat out.
I say no to a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And it's a little bit ballsy, but you have to be okay with saying no. Like
Yeah.
you can't just say yes to everything. I'm very, very protective of my energy. Like my energy is really precious. I've worked very, very hard to have a positive mindset, to have a positive outlook on my life, to build that into my family's life, positive outlook on everything about myself. Sounds disgusting to even say it like that, but when your energy is precious, you only want to surround yourself with energy charges. And I think we give our time away so freely. And again, I'm always like, why would you give away your time so freely to people who are draining your energy constantly? You wouldn't give away your bank balance because then you can't pay for your house. You can't pay for all those things, but you're giving away your energy. And without your energy, like, yes, there's 24 hours in a day. Everyone's 24 hours looks very different because everyone's got different stuff going on. But there's still more hours throughout the day. There's only a certain amount. But if you've given away your precious, positive, wonderful energy to people so early on in the day who are such energy drainers, who are there just to take and not contribute, you've got to spend the rest of the day so depleted. So I say no to a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Um, Makes it sound like I'm invited to loads of things. I'm not, but it just means that, like, there's a phone call and I'm like, not right now, maybe tomorrow. Do you know, I say no a lot. And
Okay.
it's being okay with saying no. And then as well, do you know, for John and Jack, like I want to be the best version of myself for them. I want them to be really, really proud. I want to be the best version of myself for me as well, because you only get one of these for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Um, so managing my own expectations, a bit the same with clients, you know, manage their expectations of themselves, manage mine.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And I know from following your stories and stuff like that there, you're very like me. It's the weekend, big shop in Tesco's, prepping meals, all that there. And by the way, I'm going to start asking you for some of your recipes as well because they look amazing.
No
Um,
problem.
I love the pizza bagel. I love the pizza bagels for Jack coming back
Oh, they're
from
a game changer when he finishes school. Yeah, they're
school.
eight.
Okay, listen, Kat, we're coming very, very close. Just final thoughts because I am going to invite you back on because I've really enjoyed this and I hope everybody listening has enjoyed it as well. Um, two things. Okay, so for women listening who are just starting their fitness journey, what's one piece of advice you would give them to stay on track and make it a long-term habit?
Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Don't compare your start to anyone else's middle.
Okay, perfect. Simple.
Very mindful of what you consume on social media and who you follow.
Okay, perfect. And lastly, before we switch off, how do people follow you and how do people contact you to get you in?
So my
This is
Instagram,
your this is your advertisement. I'm going to give you your
no,
advertisement now.
you noticed. So Cat Jemmy Nutrition and Fitness on Instagram, and my website is also just Cat Jemmy Nutrition and Fitness. And the gym, it's on the Ravenhill Road. Female only, small group coaching. It's
Perfect.
wonderful.
Perfect. Listen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I'm
I've
so
really enjoyed it. Really,
so
really,
have I. Yeah, it's been
really,
great.
really, really enjoyed it, folks. Listen, you can like, you can subscribe. I'm going to tag Kat in this on this when I'm putting this uh podcast up. But thank you very much for listening, and we will definitely get Kat back on again because I think there's so much more that we didn't cover in this one. We'll get her back again for another thing, and I might actually upgrade on my Zoom so we can go for longer.
Brilliant.
Folks,
Okay,
thank you
John,
very
thanks.
much. Cheers, Kat.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.